are welcome to Abrahamic Mission. Abrahamic Mission is a special program where we enlighten ourselves about the two main religions, what they believe, how they believe it. The essence is not to compare and contrast, but the essence is for us to know more so that we can live harmoniously. Also, the essence is not to promote just one religion, like some people erroneously believe, but it's for us to know this is my neighbor, this is what he believes, and this is what I believe. My name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi. Today we'll be discussing security and poverty, the role of religion. And joining me in the studio is Imam Shafiu Majemu, is Imam Islamic Platform Mosque, Lagos, here in Nigeria. Imam, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Also, we have immediate past chairman of Christian Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State, is also the country director of Global Peace, Reverend John Ayab. Reverend, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me, Imam.
Thank you so much. Today, like I've said, we'll be discussing security and poverty. Why do we need to discuss this? We have seen that security and poverty, they are twin challenge that we have in this country today. Because people are not secure, there is poverty. Everybody is hungry. Even some people, they are even taken to streets, thinking that that will bring food for them. I do not know how protests can bring food. Perhaps even the government have been hearing that there is hunger in the land. But before we discuss that, I know everybody is itching to say something on this, especially from our religious books. But before we go there, before we discuss that, we have to look at the messages which we have received. But there's one message that is actually I want us to know and to have today. Today, a mosque was opened in Ishenyi. Ishenyi is in Oyo State, and you will not believe it, it was opened by His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto. And one thing that made the opening of that mosque significant was that the representative of the Khan chairman was actually there during the opening of the mosque. And he made a lot of a speech in which, when you listen to, you know God is actually supporting us, because peace is becoming part of our life and our system. We want to appreciate even the governor of Oyo State, who happens to be a Christian. He was also part of it, and the celebration was unprecedented. I want to congratulate the people of Ishenyi for that, and His Eminence who led the pack of everything that is going to be peaceful. It's Your Eminence, congratulations. We appreciate you, and we believe God in His infinite mercy will continue to guide and guide you. You want to say something about that, Reverend?
Yeah, you see, these are the things people want to see. Practical demonstration of our togetherness. Because as a pastor, I attend the commissioning of a mosque. Do not in any way stop me from being a Christian or from being a pastor. Similarly, because you are a Muslim and you come for church dedication or any special program in church, will not in any way stop you from being a Muslim or a Christian. You remember about a year and a half ago, my daughter wedded here.
Yes.
Jamil came all the way from Niger. He was in church. Sheikh Haliru Maraya was in church. The fact about it is that they did not just start in church, but they even,
Reverend,
out of respect, pull up their cap and start listening to the homily, join us in that celebration. You see, those who keep preaching division and making it difficult for us to relate don't understand. I was in California about a year ago. I went to one of the mosques on a Friday. I have told many of my friends this story, that when I sat in the mosque during Jumat mosque, the preacher preached a message that I was just saying I was inside one of the Baptist churches in Nigeria, because what he was saying is exactly the kind of message I want to hear. And I've even used that message to preach and encourage my members how young children or children must appreciate their parents and protect their parents. So the teachings of our religion help us to promote our common humanity, to celebrate one another, not to segregate. When you see people promoting segregation, you know they are not for religion, they are up to something.
Imam.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, when we were growing up, we used to have this, maybe because we are from Southwest Nigeria. So within the families, we have Christians. So this is not new to us. So yesterday we had the high-level introduced dialogue on national security, and we have Christians, about 12 of them, led by the chairman of CAN in Lagos State, STV Adegbite, and they attended that event in the mosque. I also want to corroborate what my bishop just talked, Reverend just talked about, that we're in Washington, D.C., and we're looking for a place to observe our Jumat prayer. And, and a Muslim, a renowned Muslim, Muhammad El Sanusi, the executive director of Network for Religion and Traditional Peacemakers, led us to a church where we observe our Jumat service. In fact, the Imam of White House led the Jumat service. So
I didn't complete that story. Let me also tell that story, which I brought home.
Yeah.
After we finished prayer, they led us to one underground place to go and give us food.
Lunch.
Because because that day we did not have lunch. We were just coming from a program.
Exactly.
And that in the mosque today we have replicated in our mosque. Every Friday there's food in the mosque now.
So thank you very much. I will come to your mosque next Friday because I want to eat food. But this is the truth about it. We must grow beyond this thing and embrace one another.
Let me tell you, Reverend, let me tell you one experience that you will laugh. There was a woman who is the owner of a church. Our first wife, our first husband happens to be a Muslim. Probably the man was no more alive, I don't know. This daughter wanted to get married. We have to conduct Islamic marriage inside the church. We conducted an Islamic marriage somewhere in Jiwa, in Abuja here. It was an Islamic, she was the one who invited us that my daughter wants to get married, but she's a Muslim. But I don't have any other place to do that inside my church. So it was there we conducted the Islamic marriage.
Wow. So
we have a lot of testimony to give because we are discussing reality. About 3 weeks or so ago, a young man from Kwara State found one of my niece and fell in love with her and came to ask for her hand in marriage. It will interest you to know that it actually happened in my room, in my house. All I did was to call a neighbor, one Alhaji that we've been together, and he has been so kind. I said, look, I want you to come, be part of my family in this conversation, to know those who are about to be my in-laws and witness. You see, he even shared that story 2 days ago to someone and said he was surprised the way I treated him. What I'm simply saying is that God has created us together. In GPF, we used to say we are one family under God. Whether you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, we are members of one human family. Now when we use religion to divide ourselves, we will still need each other. I have personally, as Reverend, I have sent more than 3 to 4 people to Hajj. It has not changed me from being a Christian.
Reverend, we'll still talk more about it. Let's listen to people. This man writes, he said, "Dear Abrahamic group, my name is Honorable Augustine Okoro. I watch your program from Ebonyi State. It is a wonderful thing to listen to. Reconciliation is the main idea in Christianity. Christ Jesus came to reconcile us back to God. If you reconcile by accepting Christ, you must forgive others, so that God in heaven will forgive your sin as you forgive others. This is the acknowledgement of power and spirit of God in your life. Again, in Nigeria, before religion, we are human beings. Let us see these human beings in our brothers first. This is love. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is the message of Christ, and that is the commandment and love of God. To me, the Islam and Christianity are strangers to Nigerians. This is why we study them. We are human beings and brothers. No stranger or stranger shall divide the love we have for ourselves. In both holy books, we are all recognized as human beings and brothers. Let us love one another." That's what he writes. Although, let me read another one from Kaduna. He said, "I love what the Imam said, that benefit of reconciliation led to growth and connection. How I wish our leaders are listening to this program." Andrew Moses from Kaduna. Incidentally, we are former CAN chairman here from Kaduna too. I think he will call everybody to
Yeah. You see, I remember very well that after the Sharia and Miss World Beauty pageant in Kaduna, we did what we call, we worked together with the Muslim leaders and signed a peace accord. And we started working to actualize it, because signing a peace accord do not mean that you've earned everything. It's like a working document that will guide you to build structures, to come up with strategies that you promote peace. Then we worked for 9 years. We were able to sustain peace in Kaduna State for 9 years before the post-election violence of April 2011 took us back. Okay. And I've always tell people in Kaduna that one of the mistakes we made was that when we had that situation, to stand up and correct it, we made mistake. It's like a man who had drive all the way from Lagos and is almost entering Abuja and had a flat tire in Gwagwalada. Instead of stopping to fix his flat tire, he said, no, since this journey we had a flat tire here, we'll need to go back to Lagos and fix the tire again and start coming. So I think that was what we get wrong. But now we have started another journey, and what we want to see is moving on, because we will always be together. We need to talk together. We need to work together, because our community, the country, belongs to all of us.
Yes. Imam, I know you want to talk too, but if it is 1 minute, so that...
Yeah, 1 minute, just to recap what we have just said, is that I want to call my brothers who call themselves, some of us say we are Ahlus Sunnah, but this Sunnah, we are not looking at the Sunnah of the Prophet in terms of relating with other people. When the Prophet observed prayers in the church. So we need to also bring this as part of it. So what we are saying is the Sunnah.
And when the Prophet even allowed Christians to worship in his house.
What we are saying
is... I'm saying this because in some part of Nigeria, when you hold, if you want to learn Islam and you pick the Holy Quran, hey, it will turn out to be something. Well, in reality, the purpose is learning. Because unless you read the book, you won't know what is contained in that holy book, and you even say something negative about the holy book. So we need to open and allow people to learn, to grow. That will make us a better people.
Thank you so much. I think the people on this program today, I do not know whether they are not tired, but I'm happy that you are not. This one say their presenter and moderator. I am Chris from Owerri, and I thank you for a wonderful program, especially the last discussion on religion and development. I hope to crave your indulgence to address this critical question of important socio-economic consequences. He said, 1, since faith, religion deals with salvation, but is tested by works that serve as good examples of faith, while some big religions totally without such balancing works like establishment of universities, enterprise training centers for youth that create mass employment and stem youth unrest. 2, you should also extend the democratic ecosystem to issues of religion, because there are minority religions too, standing beside the big ones like Christianity and Islam. Thus, many Nigerians are also Buddhists, Hindus, Judaists, Ekis, and other new age religions. Thus, also invite them for discussion to get balanced viewpoint on issues for all citizens. Finally, do a discussion on religion and values and ethical orientation. It is indeed so much, and begins with family, culture, religion, school system, media, and organization. Thank you so much. I don't know. Let me quickly respond to that. He said he wants us to be inviting other religions. The name of this program is Abrahamic Mission. The meaning of our is that religions that follow the teachings of Abraham. And that is our scope for this program. Some other people might also be more intelligent. They can even do more by having a program that will bring everybody together. But for the purpose of this program, the essence is to bring religion that claims to follow the teaching of Abraham together. Let's now discuss, how did Abraham do it? And that is why we're here.
But do you remember, Imam, that on the 1st of February, you were even out of this country. You were in Saudi Arabia. It was actually 1st February to the 7th of February. It's been observed as International or World Interfaith Harmony Week. We celebrated the World Interfaith Harmony Week actually on 1st February, and through a television program. We brought a Hindu priest. He came all the way from Jos. He spent a night here in Abuja. We had a live program on television. Even this night he called because we are beginning to think of other work that we can do. So the Abrahamic Mission is one. There are other exercises we are doing out there, bringing other people of other faith. So we will continue like this until we bring everybody to speak peace, to speak unity, to speak understanding, because there is a peace message in every religion. We want to learn, we want to work together to find peace in our community.
You have what
yes, fine. Yeah.
Okay, you agree with that. Okay. Let me quickly read message before we go on a short break. Now, this man writes, "Good evening, sir. I really appreciate your program. I believe it is high time we told our people that religion should not be a conflict. At least we are human first before religion. So whatever be the religion of anyone is up to him. Let's live in peace with ourselves. Thanks, I'm Atam. I do not know whether I pronounce it well. This man said, I'm Ibrahim Silla from Sierra Leone. I am Muslim, but I like your conversation about Jesus Christ. And I like the Imam, how he talks about Jesus Christ. Keep it up. Your program is the best ever on NTA. Thank you so much for that message. I think with this message, we go on a short break now. But you can also be sending your messages to us on 070-449-44949. Once again, 070 is being shown on your screen. You can see it there, 070-449-44949. You only WhatsApp and SMS. Please do not call if you want us to enjoy this program. Now we now go on a short break, but when we come back, before we begin to discuss the main topic of the day.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Yeah, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Abrahamic Mission. And today we are looking at security and poverty, the role of religion. Joining me in the studio once again is Reverend Joseph John Ayab. I think she is Reverend JJ Ayab. Is the former CAN chairman, Kaduna State. CAN is the Christian Association of Nigeria. Is also the country rep of World Global Peace Foundation. Reverend, you are welcome once again.
Thank you once again for welcoming me.
And we also have Imam Shafiu Majemo. He is the Imam of Islamic Platform Society of Nigeria, with the mosque in LSDC Magodo in Lagos. Imam, you are welcome once again to Abuja.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us.
We thank you for being part. If you look at the challenges or what we are having in our country today, you see a lot of agitation out of poverty and out of insecurity that we are facing. Yes, there is no country in the world that will not pass through this thing we are passing through. The so-called developed countries, they had similar things before, and the so-called growing states, they had similar things before. Yes, they are able to overcome this. I'll start from Reverend. Security, poverty, how will you look at it? If you, let's say you are on the pulpit, on the altar, will you tell people what is security or what is poverty? Let's take it one by one.
Yeah.
What is security?
Let me begin by looking at security. Security is simply a state of stability, success, peace, and coordination. When those things are absent, then there is insecurity. The Bible in John chapter 10 verse 10 says, the thief comes to steal, kill, and to destroy, but I have come to give you life, and life abundantly. In other words, in faith with God, we have security because we have life and life in its fullness. But when we don't have that, then Satan is in charge, and Satan brings insecurity. And similarly in Psalms 23, when the Bible says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Who is a shepherd? A shepherd is the person who secures his flock. So security from a religious point of view is a state of enjoying protection, enjoying stability, enjoying an organized peace at home and everywhere. Well, hunger, you know, is the absence of what to eat or what or a good nutrient that takes care of your body. This body we have cannot survive without food. It's just like a car cannot move without fuel. So we cannot live without eating food. So when food is not available, when we don't have what to eat, or when what we eat is not a good balanced diet, we are in a state of hunger. And the situation around today in Nigeria is quite alarming, very painful. But as you rightly said, there is insecurity, there is hunger, but we have a way to solve our problem.
Imam.
Yeah, thank you very much. Security means to be in a state of tranquility, which is in the opposite of fear. So in a situation whereby tranquility also look at the peace of the mind and the soul that stabilize the people and also eliminate any form of fear. As human being, our kind of creation by God is all about peace and comfort of the mind and the heart. And that is why in trying to make that very important and also to resonate well with humanity, God gave us some laws that helps us to promote those peace and give us protection against any evil or anything that could alter our state of mind. If you look at the Quran in Surah Quraysh, Allah made a very clear establishment between us, looking at security and also poverty. When he said, "At'amahum min ju'in wa amanahum min khawf," that as part of my grace, I'm feeding you from those things that I've created for you, and also I've brought to you peace and tranquility at all times. So this shows that in any country or nation where people do not, get this kind of peace, then definitely there will be a sort of reaction. And that reaction, when you talk about security and you talk about hunger, so when there is no security, there will be hunger. And when there is hunger, there will be insecurity.
So there are three.
Yeah, of course. You can't separate them.
Them.
Like, practically today, one among the reasons why there is no food, we know that many farmers in many parts of Nigeria couldn't actually farm. So you can see how insecurity have led to poverty or led to hunger, and hunger is as a result of poverty. So all of them are connected. And that's why I started by talking about where Jesus says he has come to give us life and life in its fullness, because in that fullness you are secured, in that fullness you have abundant blessing or food or whatever to enjoy, you have good health. But once there is insecurity, you don't have those things.
If you look at the global index in terms of food globally, Nigeria is one of those countries in the world that is ranked very high in terms of food
production.
I mean, when you talk about food and also elimination of hunger because of our enormous natural resources. So we should not be part of those countries that will be crying of hunger, that people are in poverty. But the only problem we have now is that the farmers cannot farm because of insecurity. So there is need for government who are responsible. When they took the mantle of leadership, they promised and they said, don't pity us, don't sympathize with us. It is a mandate we have taken and we have to solve it. So what we need from people is to exercise patience, and we know that they will do the needful.
But the question
is, apart from that, the people also have a responsibility.
Exactly.
The responsibility
I don't want us to mix this thing.
Thank you.
Let's what I call conceptual clarification.
That's right.
This is what I think we should understand first, so that we don't just mix these things together. But if you look at, you have been talking of insecurity that has led to poverty. But sincerely, do we need to be, why can we describe Nigeria as insecure or being poor For God's sake, what can we say has led to this? Why are we poor in this country? Because if you look at what is happening now, is like everybody believes that there is poverty.
Yeah, because we sometimes focus our attention on other things and forget to look at the other side.
Okay.
One, we do know that the reason for our poverty is because of selfishness. Some very few individuals, out of selfishness, have dragged us into this situation. Imagine in a country like Nigeria, for us to wake up and hear that some individuals, let me say, they say they forged the certificate, the signature of the Secretary to Government of Federation and the President, and siphon money hiding under monitoring of election. When you translate that money into the Nigerian money as it is today, you're talking about billions, and we have not had them, and everybody surrounding them being arrested and paraded for about 2 weeks after such story. It tells you that selfishness in this country is not being checked. If it is checked, criminality will stop. And then, because I'm just using one example, which have led to so many things. Then the other side of it is, we many times in this country like to portray ourselves beyond what we're supposed to do. I'll give you this example. If you feel that what we have is not good enough for you, you have to buy what others have. You are indirectly making Nigerian poor. You are causing...
He has bloated impression about himself.
Yeah, you are indirectly making Nigerian poor, because the challenge in this country is, unless we change our lifestyle, what we buy and consume, what we buy and make use in this country, and promote what we locally have, we will continue to talk. Today we are talking and crying that there's an issue of dollar. See, dollar will not change if we continue by protest on the street. It won't change dollar. By just making noise on newspaper, it won't change dollar. We must change certain lifestyles that we do that have caused us where we are. Our privileged few feels that the moment they become big, those things that ordinarily they would have eaten and become healthy, they will refuse to eat it. They want to be importing and importing. You are not exporting, you are importing. How will your currency be strong? So you can go on and be looking at some of these tiny things that we think does not matter. The accumulation of all this, the selfishness side, the greed, the ignorance that we attach to all, have caused us the situation we are. So we must deliberately, as a country, in our effort to address insecurity and then poverty, change our lifestyle. But you know, this country loves blaming leadership. Yes, leadership are wrong. I quite agree. I'm one of those who used to tell leadership when they're wrong. But I think we must begin to also think, what contribution am I going to bring to change and make things work well?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, it's very important for us to understand the fact that where there is no justice, I mean social justice, there will be poverty.
How?
Yeah, thank you. Social justice is about even distribution of resources to everyone. No one should be left out of the commonwealth of the country. We must ensure that you don't neglect other people at the expense of others, because when you do that, those that you neglected will want to react, because they also have right to those things. Two, like the Reverend rightly said, we also need to look at responsibilities. Nigerians of today, we are not doing our own responsibility to our own people, our own selves. For instance, go to the market, you will see a vulcanizer would inflate your tire, and he will tell you that yesterday I did one, and today he's telling me that I have to pay like 100%. And when I asked why, he said dollar has gone up. So I asked myself, and I asked him, what has dollar gone to do with this? So we should look inward. What are we also contributing? The people that are the arms of affairs, the National Assembly, the President, and everyone, they are people like us. Tomorrow,
it could be your turn.
It could be your turn. So what are we doing within ourselves to also take responsibility that if Nigerians will do the needful, do you know what I'm saying? I think the government will sit up. For instance, if we decide that this is, the whole failure started even from election. We also aided the whole thing by putting the people who will not have like fear of God at heart. If a pastor or reverend should come out and want to vie for a position, they say, oh, pastor, you go to church, you cannot do it. What are they doing there? Do you understand? But because some people are there to guide what they are taking from the from the resources of the country. So we need to look at right and responsibility, and we need to look at social justice. Equitable distribution of resources is very, very important. In a situation where you distribute resources and you make some people to suffer for it, when you're doing development, it's not balanced. So we need to balance all this, because if you don't do that, people will continue to react and it will lead to something beyond.
Imam, when you said equitable distribution of resources,
yeah.
I think that is an over ambitious statement, because in a situation where a particular amount of money is dedicated to a particular project, to a particular thing, a particular community, and it don't come out, it ended up in the pocket of the oligarchic few.
Yeah.
Do you call that one equal distribution of wealth? There's no distribution at all. That's what I'm going to.
Yeah, of course, I quite understand. If I understand your illustration, giving such money is not about, it's no longer equity, it's not justice, it's not fairness. But you see, we are living in a country where every citizen have a right. Every citizen also should enjoy certain privileges.
Exactly.
Every citizen should enjoy also certain benefits. So what we are simply saying is that how do we address poverty? When we neglect the children of the poor and do not give them the privilege of good education, we are increasing poverty. When we neglect when we abandon the poor and do not provide certain basic services for them, and they have to suffer a lot to get those services, we are encouraging poverty. What are we doing about our healthcare? What are we doing about our education? What are we doing about with our roads? See, in Nigeria, another way you promote poverty in Nigeria is bad roads. When you drive your car out of Nigeria today, when you travel for 4 kilometers, when you come back the next day, you will spend 6 hours with the mechanic. The hours is supposed to be productive somewhere. You are spending it with mechanic to repair your car because the road you drive for 4 kilometers is bad. That itself promote poverty. I used to challenge people in government. I say, let me tell you another thing you do to promote poverty. Because we don't even understand these things. If a president or the wife of the president or a wife of a governor or a senate president is going to visit my state, then they will ask women, oh, gather 1,000 women to come to receive the wife of the president or the wife of the governor. All these women will abandon their work, since they will tell them they must come by 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. They will leave their work and come and stay. The woman is still sleeping at 10. She's still sleeping at 11. She's still sleeping at 12. And they will stay there until 1 o'clock she wake up, get dressed and leave house at 2 o'clock. Till 3 she will come there and just speak with them for 30 minutes. Please be honest to yourself. These women who abandon their market and everything and stay here for the last 4 or 8 hours waiting for you, can they be productive? You see, we may not see it as encouraging poverty, but these are part of the things that makes lazy people and become people unproductive. Then tomorrow when we have challenge, since they don't have anything to secure themselves, then the country will suffer.
And if you look at the number of women that are participating in political campaigns, most of them have abandoned their main business, their primary business, I mean, where they can make good money. But because they see politics as a place you can just make cheap money, and this we are making them to be, not to be productive also, because when they're supposed to be productive, we have taken them out of those places.
Okay.
So it's very important.
Well, I think we are just bringing the birds out of the pockets, and I know we will be part of this. You can be part of this program by sending your messages to 070-449-44949. Once again, 070-449-44949. SMS and WhatsApp. But don't go away. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll now ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Yeah. Are we going to continue to be complaining and complaining? Don't go away. We'll soon be back.
Independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Yeah, welcome back. We're discussing poverty and insecurity, the role of religion. Now we have seen that we are poor, although we are not supposed to be poor by all standards. And we know that a lot of insecurity, I think that's an understatement to say there's an insecurity in the land. But I think the government is trying a lot. And the recent information you get from the military will make you to feel happy that I think things are happening now. And I pray, and you religious people should continue to pray for them, especially our military and all those who are involved in the fight against this insecurity, that God in his infinite mercy will give them victory. And we, the citizens, we have to support them by giving them the right information. I think it will go a long way if we support them. Imam, what are we now going to be doing? Is it only complain we are going to do? What does God say that we can use to stop this poverty and insecurity where we find ourselves?
Well, according to Islam, Islam gave us a model.
Okay.
And that model is in the Quran.
Okay.
And if you look at Quran chapter 9 verse 60, when Allah was talking about charity. Charity does not only mean that because I have what I'm giving. Charity could be just a word of advice. Charity could be like a connection that you are giving someone, or information that will be useful to that person. So the Quran make it clear that innama sadaqat lil fuqara, that you should give support. I will use the word support, empowerment to the poor, to the needy, to those who have issues. I mean, who are maybe like victims of crisis, insecurity, those who have been like neglected in the society, those who have been like displaced, maybe as a result of war or any crisis. You must support them. And he talked about those who are traumatized, maybe women, widows in the society. You must support them. You must also support those who are in captive. You must support them. You must also support those who are in debt that they cannot even pay. Not only the wafi sabilillah, even those who are working in the house of God, you must support them. Wabun is the wayfarer, you must support. These are obligatory steps that a government can take, that individual can take to support the society. If you look at it today, Nigeria has what we call the Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. And that ministry is to oversee the distribution of support. It could be in terms of money, it could be in terms of food, it could be of anything, to people around the poor, those that are in need of it. Not only that, Islam wants us to look at ourselves and our community and society as part of us. You shouldn't see a Christian because a Christian is a human being. You shouldn't see a Muslim, but a Muslim is a human being. And whatever you can do, you must do to make that person happy. The government itself, they have the responsibility because they are the one that is holding our commonwealth. So what they are there for is to ensure that people are happy. Whatever they can do, it is very, very important for them to. That is what Islam wants, because you have taken that trust. Because a position of leadership is a trust in Islam. And that trust, you must ensure that you deliver. Failure to deliver those trusts, then Allah will query you, you'll be questioned, and that could lead to something else. And that is the stand of Islam and the Quran in terms of solving this issue. Security is something government responsibility, because I cannot command the police. I cannot establish a vigilante of my own. All this have to be done by the government. So government should, step up. And we know they are trying, but they have to scale up all this security effort to ensure that Nigeria is safe again for people to live.
Reverend,
Yeah, I begin by looking at the place of patriotism. As citizens, the Bible encourages us to be patriotic. That's why in Romans chapter 13, from verse 1 to 5, the Bible says, everyone should be obedient to governing authority, because governing authority are established by God. But there's an interesting part of that scripture that says that, look, if you are afraid of authority, you are afraid because you are doing wrong. Because authority is being established by God to correct or to punish wrongdoers. So pastors and religious leaders have a responsibility to teach their members to be patriotic to their country. When people become patriotic to their country, they will no longer be corrupt and siphon public funds. When people are patriotic to their country, they will be honest. They will not destroy what belongs to their country. When people are patriotic to their country, they will not do anything that will end them in a correctional facility, and so on and so forth. So we have a responsibility of teaching our followers to be patriotic and do what is right. Because before you call on government that they are wrong, ask yourself whether you are right. And then that one aside, another thing we need to do is, are we even honest in paying our taxes? To be honest with you, as a person, I've tried every time to question myself. And in the office where I occupy, I will tell my accountant, look, we must send our tax to whatever tax you call it, to the agencies that is responsible for receiving that tax. I know in this city of Abuja, the revenue agency have always asked us, how do you bring your tax so quick? But I'm just teaching my staff how to be an honest citizen, a faithful citizen, a patriotic citizen. Because we're talking about insecurity, we're talking about hunger. You cannot fight hunger when the citizens themselves are not making any contribution. In the US, there's this organization called USID. You know, they will say it's for the American people. The money is American. For those of us who went for IVLP, they will tell us we are sponsored by American money, people's money. In this country, I know that my tax also pay the police, my tax also pay the soldiers, but how many of us are faithfully doing that? Because before we get ourselves into saying things are not done right, have we done the little we're supposed to do? Are we honest? If you run a business that requires you pay tax, pay tax. So religious leaders must remind their members or followers to be faithful citizens, honest citizens, patriotic citizens in paying their tax in obedience to the rule of the country. Because you are talking about insecurity. Show me a man who drives and there's danger, and he drives past that danger and just enter and there's an accident. He has caused another person's life. So itself is crisis. So we must teach followers to obey the rule of our country or the laws of our country. If not, we'll be having this kind of a thing. And then we teach them about love for one another, love for the country, because the selfishness I've earlier said is part of the reason why you will carry a huge money that belongs to the nation, that's supposed to improve schools, supposed to improve hospitals, supposed to construct roads, and you take it to yourself. Who are you keeping that money for? As a Christian, the Bible says we came into this world empty-handed and we will leave empty-handed. There's nobody who has ever died and carried the money he's to heaven, or he's going to take it and go and bribe God and say, you know, I was very smart. I took some money out of that accountant office in Nigeria, so just take it and put me in eternity. You won't get that. So why are you even stealing money? Today, we've had cases in this country where those who are supposed to buy weapons for us did not buy weapons and siphoned the money. We must not do that. And you will find out that those people are strong members of other church or strong members of mosques. Religious leaders must tell them the truth and don't collect envelopes and keep quiet and think that God will not question you. And when we talk about hunger, the Bible simply says that, look, the religion God the Father is pleased. It's the religion that takes care of orphans and widows in their need. Because sometimes when we look at the hunger in our land, there is a problem of insecurity that we cannot farm, but there's also a problem of our lack of caring and supporting one another, as my colleague have said. We must do it. We must learn to do what is right so that we'll all grow together, live together, and be happy together. Government have come up with different policies in the past telling us that they will feed children in school. We are just feeding really there. But when you use those slogans and tell us that we are going to feed our children and you don't give them food, you think nobody cares? A day will come that you will stand before God and give account for that selfishness.
Thank you. To also, add to that, you see, even before now, up to now, the religious institutions and mosques and churches, they've been doing well.
What have they been doing?
Yeah. If you look at, even in terms of support to the people, up to date, I've seen churches and mosques like Al-Habibiyya who distribute zakat tomorrow to people. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's part of it. So this is not the first time. And if you go around, you will see those that have even played a pivotal role in terms of supporting the people, alleviating poverty. Do you get what I'm saying? At the religious institution, all we need to do is to scale up all this. And also we need to also understand that what is happening today is also affecting the house of the religious institutions too. Do you get what I'm saying? So if, like you said, we have to pay and tell people the truth, but we are saying the truth after leaving the mosque or the church, people go out and do something different. So the will to do the right thing is very important for us. Maybe we look at that to start building the will in the minds of the people, picking their conscience in terms of the politicians come to the mosque on Friday, they go to church on Sundays. And we will hear the priest, the imam, telling them the truth. But
some of the priests and the imams,
some
of us bless them even in their lives, bless them and tell them it is well. Well, the reality is that they've stolen our
I don't want to say that. Anyway, that's
I think we should. These are part of what we as religious leaders must admit, that there are areas we've not done right, because we have clapped for people we know lied. We have clapped for people we know that took away the commonwealth that would have saved that young boy in the hospital, that would have saved that small girl that had accident and no drug or no medication for her.
Because that's the question I want to ask.
So when things like that happen, recently, I'm sorry, with due respect, when there was money shared that palliative because of the situation in the country, and I say, oh my God, it's just another way of helping some people to steal more money. Because when you give 5 billion to a state, all they will do is to set up a committee. Before the committee will sit, probably half a billion have been set aside as allowance for sitting. And so the poor man continue to be poor, and then they will start telling you stories and stories. Well, the poor man is not looking for billions,
hold on.
He's looking for 1,000 naira.
Reverend, you said when government send palliatives and it's just avenue for more people to make more money, how do you think they could have done it? Because it is still people that would work for government, for people.
No, exactly. Imagine government provide an environment where you will go to hospital, you don't need to pay bills.
Exactly.
You will travel within the next 6 months and you're not going to pay a certain amount for transport. The money you're supposed to use for transport to move, let me use Kaduna because that's where things are happening. But that's where I'm so proud of, you travel to from town to Kasamagini, you will just enter a bus and come without paying. That money you saved could be used for something else. But when you ask them to buy rice and share, at the end of the day, you won't even get 1 cup of rice. Or you take your son to hospital, drugs will be provided for him, so you don't need to walk into the chemist again and start paying 200 naira or 1,000 naira to buy drugs. Certain things have been done. There are certain services that Nigerian masses are waiting for government to provide. Once those things are provided, this country is blessed with great people.
You want to say something?
Yeah, it's a valid point, because when you share rice, you are giving me fish. Tell me how to fish. There are some projects that government can invest this money in, and people will go there and take those things free of charge. They don't need to pay for it.
So do you mean the government should not do this thing? That's why they call it palliative.
I'm not in support of that.
Palliative, the word palliatives, I think we should understand.
Yeah, I know.
It brings temporary succor. That is the meaning of palliative. That's why they call it palliatives.
That's why the transport system could just be, in the next 6 months, travels around here will be free.
Of course, palliative.
So within that period, you will increase the wealth of the individual.
Let me ask you one question.
Giving him a cup of rice.
Wait. It's better said than done.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
You said, let's say, government said it should reduce transport fares from so place to so place. How is it going to be paid? The drivers who are doing this, it means you are removing enriching a certain group of people to another. I think it's just only you are shifting base.
Sir, we did
transport system across the world are well organized,
including
in
Nigeria,
such a way that you can transport your citizens without having issues or problems.
Sir, during Christmas.
Christmas, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Government did something, and they got those companies, transport companies, and they asked people to go there. 50% slash, they can say, and the government paid those companies the 50% balance
because they will need fuel and other services for those vehicles, so they need that money. So it's not like an enriching them, but we're talking about what are those programs that will benefit the people. You see, in our effort to find solutions, we've organized a program that we're going to be bringing religious leaders across Nigeria, over 120 of them. I know you're going to be there, you're going to be there, to just discuss how can we as religious leaders play our role in helping government. And thank to our governor who is willing to unite the people, who is willing to help ensure that peace come back to Kaduna State. He is open to receive. This kind of conversation is important, that religious leaders must look inward.
That is what
which
I actually wanted to
play in helping to address insecurity and poverty.
Just hold on. You see, this is the question I actually want to, why I'm asking this question. I know you people intend to have a very big program called Peace Conference.
That's right. IDFE Peace Conference.
What is IDFE?
Interview Dialogue Forum for Peace.
Well, this is a very good one. It's certain because I know IDFE is very rich. Be rest assured that you are paying. I don't think it's going to be free, and I assure you, you are organizing an interfaith peace forum in Kaduna. Briefly, what do you intend to achieve?
One,
because
we want to reignite that platform that religious leaders, you will come and have an honest conversation towards finding solution to their state problem, to their community problem, to their national problem, instead of the one every day Christians are accusing Muslims, Muslims are accusing Christians, we are attacking each other. It has never given us the desired result. I gave you an example of how successfully 9 years we made progress, and when we had a flat tire, we went back to Lagos and
the peace, the IDFP Peace Conference is going to be religion and development.
That's right.
Partnership for development. So you see Christian Muslim coming together to help government to consolidate on all various efforts they have been carrying out in terms of taking Nigeria to another level, and that is the conference we'll be looking at that.
When you say you said government, to help government, probably I should redefine government. What my government is those who are in position of authority and the people in general.
It is contributing our quota because government is a collective responsibility. Democracy is defined as government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And the reality is that I've always said this in many fora, that even those who are in Aso Villa, those who are in Sakashim Ibrahim House, those who are in all the government houses, we employ them and put them there. But you see, sadly, the system in Nigeria do not allow people to understand that you keep the government, and if you abandon the government, you are abandoning yourself. You must put your eyes, you must contribute your quota towards making things work. But those in power also must not think that they own the people. I think that's where the error comes.
Imam, now this one is to serve as a last word, or your parting word. Now we know we are hungry, and probably this hungry is because of the insecurity which we find ourselves. In just 1-2 sentences, what do you think we should be doing, or what should be your parting word, so that it will console us as a nation?
Well, the patience is very important, so we must be patient. Some of us, we have belief in the government, and we know they will deliver, but we have to be patient with them. And it's not about protest. If you want to protest, I think the kind of protest that I like is that when you want to protest, go to the farm and start farming. If you want to protest, go see how we can help government in terms of fishing out those that are causing trouble. And that will be fine.
And the last thing he said is what I want to build on. When you see something, say something. But you know the reason why in Nigeria people are seeing things and not saying it, because many people in power have not built relationship with the people. So I call on those in power to build relationship with people, from the security agencies to those in executive office. Build relationship with people that they will trust you and know that whatever they see and say it, it will not hit hard on them again. It will instantly lead to solving problems. So, and I call on Nigerians, please, let's work together and find
Reverend, before you finish with that, you know, leadership has always been a challenge for us in this problem. But the greatest challenge we have is actually from followership.
Exactly.
For those people who are in position of followership, because we're actually the one teaching them wrong thing. I mean the followers, they are the one teaching the leaders wrong thing. Hey, this man is here, he refused to give me money. Well, those who are there before is what they do.
Yeah.
In one word, what will you advise? One word, just to say that this is what I want you to do, this I want you not to do, because
just do your best to be honest and patriotic to Nigeria. Don't be selfish and put pressure on people in power, because they will steal money and give you, and all of us will suffer tomorrow.
We are very grateful. I think that is where we will actually end it. You should help them. Don't you should put pressure on them.
Yeah.
If we also fear God and we believe God can do things for us, and we do things to please God, our country will be better. Individually, our life will also be changed. I think perhaps this is where we'll be stopping today. Our time is far. Our youth want to thank you, Reverend. We knew what it is for you to be here. We thank you and we appreciate it. And Imam Shafiu, we also thank you. With those so many things have been involved, and we appreciate you all. And for you for being there, we thank you. And His Eminence, we actually want to thank you, because I've seen his hand that His Eminence is actually showing that he's watching this program. So we want to thank you for being the father of all of us. May God in His infinite mercy continue to protect you. Until we meet next time, my name still remains Imam Fuad. Same week, same station. We'll meet again by God's grace next week. Bye-bye.